This is Cougar News.
Hello, and welcome to the first installment of this Cougar News Brief. I'm David Caduto.
And I'm Shelby Stewart. Here's the latest from the Cougar Newsroom.
Tragedy struck close to home this past Saturday when two students from College of the Canyons were involved in a fatal car crash on the 5 freeway. The cause? Street racing. Brendan Ariati has more.
It's just hard to believe that I can never, physically sit down with her again and talk to her and find out how her day is going, vice versa, it's unimaginable. It's so hard.
Words to remember as COC student Stevie Leonard talks about his dear friend, fellow student Michelle Littlefield, who alongside COC student Brian Lewandowski died on midnight Saturday when a UPS tractor trailer struck their vehicle as a result of a street racing accident over in Commerce. Both were employees at Six Flags Magic Mountain and were coming home from Disneyland along with two of their co-workers when the fatal accident occurred. Anthony Miramontes and Alfonso Murillo remain in critical condition. Now, friends and family are mourning their loss, remembering the trait that made each of them unique.
Even though he was so young, he knew a lot about life, and he knew great work ethic, and he was always there.
You can't do anything bad, anything you're not supposed to do around her. And at the time we were like, oh my God, Michelle, you're such a party pooper. But now it's like, so she was just looking out for us, and it was just her way of saying she cared.
COC honored both Brian and Michelle by lowering their flag to half staff on Monday and also releasing a statement from Chancellor Diane Van Hook saying, quote, "All of us at College of the Canyons are grieving the loss of Michelle and Brian. Their deaths leave a void on our campus, in the classrooms, and among their friends." A vigil will be held Wednesday night in the Honor Grove for both victims. During an illegal street race, Delio Lockhart lost control and crashed into the UPS truck, causing it to collide with the victim's vehicle. Lockhart has since been charged with 3 counts of second-degree murder and, if convicted, faces up to life in prison, according to the LA District Attorney's Office. After Saturday's fateful crash, Santa Clarita Valley Sheriff officials are warning drivers to avoid street racing or face harsh punishment.
It's extremely unsafe. It's not going to be tolerated in the Santa Clarita Valley. If we find out about it or we catch you committing a street race, the driver's going to get arrested, his car's going to get impounded. It's extremely expensive, and it ends in a fatality. You're going to be charged with murder.
If you know any street race being planned, sheriff officials urge you to tip anonymously at lacrimestoppers.org. For Cougar News, I'm Brandon Uriarte.
Climate change causes noticeable distress for Southern California and the rest of the world. From reducing water usage to implementing ways to conserve energy, COC is taking measures into their own hands to become more environmentally friendly. COC's Jacob Sykes takes a look.
With California amid a super drought and a global carbon footprint on the rise, it takes small changes to help slow the negative effects. So what is COC doing to go green? I spoke to Eric Harnish, the VP of Public Information, to find out.
We elected to forego watering on the perimeter of the campus and reallocate that water towards keeping, the areas that are, in the center of campus greener, because that's, where our students, faculty, staff, and visitors spend most of their time.
COC has gone above and beyond the required downsizing of water usage.
The goal, as stated by the Castaic Lake Water Agency, is to reduce, water by about 28% below 2013 levels, and so we've actually reduced right around 36%.
Another project that is aimed at conserving water is currently in the works.
We're going to be replacing the soccer portion of the upper field with artificial turf. And so this is it's a 3-way project. It involves the City of Santa Clarita, the college, and then the Castaic Lake Water Agency.
However, saving water is not the only way that COC is doing its part.
We're actually going to be going through and installing LED lighting.
According to SFGate, LED bulbs use a quarter less energy than standard incandescent bulbs and will last 5 times longer.
We're getting bids in to go ahead and install or replace all the exterior lighting with LED, and then the East PE gym will also have LED fixtures in it.
While the school is making this energy conservation move, they have no current plans to switch to solar.
We don't just buy electricity like you do at home, so we have a pretty healthy discount, and then we also have some other measures in place on campus that substantially lower our cost of electricity, and so we're actually able to get that at a cheaper rate than even solar.
It's not just administration trying to make a difference on campus. Hands on Earth is a club that aims to educate students on how to be more ecologically friendly. To find out more information, go to canyons.edu and search Hands on Earth. For Cougar News, this is Jacob Sykes.
The Associated Student Government calls to teach students about homelessness in its many forms. Arming them with resources, ASG set up a youth homelessness event last Thursday at the Student Center, and Shelby Stewart was there and had a chance to find out more.
Homelessness is considered sleeping on the street or not having a place to go, but it can also be crashing with your friend or couch surfing. Right here on our very own campus, 2 out of 5 students are considered homeless. I caught up with Avneet Gotra, Student Board of Trustees member for ASG, who gave us more information.
Today we had a youth homelessness event sponsored by ASG, and we put this all together. I contacted Sylvie from the health center, and she invited a couple organizations to come to this ASG sponsored event.
Many organizations participated in this event, but one in particular stood out.
Hope Mill is a company that creates care packs, and these are backpacks with food, clothing, toiletries, and all these supplies that we may take for granted on an everyday basis, but homeless students don't necessarily have access to these resources. Hope Mill actually decided to provide 50 backpacks, 50 care packs from the kindness of their heart.
For more information, go ahead and check out the Counseling Center. This has been Shelby Stewart with Cougar News. Coming up on Cougar News Brief, students bringing guns to campus?
Plus, we update you on COC's women's basketball.
Art is life. Art is love. Art is patience.
The University of Texas is close to allowing handguns on campus. Would you feel safer if licensed concealed handgun holders were allowed on campus? Or would it give you a feeling of uneasiness? Students and staff share their opinions on handguns. Ariel Thompson has more.
Students at the University of Texas will soon be allowed to carry handguns on campus. Legalizing handguns on university campuses can be a concern to colleges nationwide.
I personally think it's a terrible idea. And of course others think it's a terrible idea, and I understand both sides of the argument. The problem is handguns are inherently dangerous. Statistically, you're far more likely to be hurt by a handgun than to be saved by one. I just don't think it'll be effective. It just almost never happens that way, and this has been going on for years.
Some people think that guns are a safety hazard, but others think it's a tool to keep them safe.
Who comes onto a campus, school campus, to commit a crime? It's not a concealed carry permit holder. It's somebody who has thought beforehand that they want to take a weapon onto a place that doesn't allow firearms.
I mean, on the news, obviously, you hear a lot about shootings and stuff, but what we don't hear about is people who carry legally that actually end up saving lives.
For Cougar News, I'm Ariel Thompson.
With spring semester underway, students are having to break the bank to purchase books. Andrew Menjivar went to the COC bookstore to understand why.
Textbook prices have risen over 1,000% since 1977, according to data published by the Bureau of Labor Statistics.
In COC, they can be outrageously expensive.
This has led many students to look for cheaper alternatives online.
Honestly, I never bought a textbook from COC. I usually buy them from like a third-party kind of place, kind of like Chegg or something like that.
If I can, I'll try to look for cheap textbooks online. If I can't, I'll try to ask my friends if we could share a textbook or something.
Christina Champion, bookstore manager at College of the Canyons, says the bookstore has implemented a rental program that can drop a textbook price by as much as 80%. However, rental does not apply to every textbook.
I feel like unless I find a cheaper copy, because right now it's about $200, I'm not going to buy the hard copy textbook.
And in some cases, professors have gotten rid of textbooks entirely.
In our math class, we don't have to buy a textbook because it's already provided online. He uses an online platform called OLI.
College of the Canyons does offer scholarship awards to help with the purchase of textbooks.
COC's women's basketball team's season has come to an abrupt end after being eliminated from the playoffs last Friday. Ken Berkland has more.
The COC women's basketball team was nothing short of spectacular as the team went 23-6 on the season, undefeated at home, and won 16 straight. This special team had a very special leader, and her name was Hannah Green. Hannah broke several records on the season while averaging an outstanding 17.6 points per game and 8.6 blocks per game in conference play. She is now the Cougars' all-time leader in shots blocked in a single season and holds the record for most shots blocked in a single game with 15. This season will always be one for Hannah to remember. For COC Cougar News, I'm Ken Berkland.
The controversy between Apple and the FBI continues. What's more important to you, privacy or security? Sade Easterling has more.
Last week, a California judge ordered Apple to help the FBI and create software that would disable their encryption of an iPhone owned by one of the San Bernardino shooters, who opened fire at the Inland Regional Center in December 2015, killing 14. Apple has stated they will fight this ruling. So, America is now divided. Which is more important, privacy or security? We took it to the COC campus to find out.
Apple saying no to the government about hacking our phone is a great thing.
But Jasmine Herrera sees it differently.
In certain circumstances, like the San Bernardino shooting, if they could get into their information, then that would be fine.
Apple filed an appeal to the order on Tuesday, and Cougar News will keep you posted on any updates.
I'm Sade Easterling, reporting for Cougar News.
That does it for this edition of Cougar News Brief. I'm David Caduto. Remember, you can catch us online at cougarnews.com.
And I'm Shelby Stewart. You can also send us news tips and story ideas at cougarnews@canyons.edu. Good night, everyone.